Today's show is brought to you by State Farm agent Brian McDevitt. Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. State Farm agent Brian McDevitt is ready to help you combine home and auto and save in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. Call Brian today at 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or visit his website, ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com, and make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to start today with this. It takes a big man to admit when he's wrong. Today, I'm that big man. See, when the NBA season started, I was not expecting anything from this Chicago Bulls team. Nothing. I thought if they're lucky, they'll tank again, get another good draft pick, and be set for years to come. I didn't expect a possible playoff run in the first year under AK and Mark Eversley. I just didn't. I didn't see it. The Bulls, to me, before the year, were not a playoff team. They weren't a contender. They were nothing. They were, for all intents and purposes, still a project. But as we sit here today, as we hurtle towards the All-Star break, it's pretty apparent to me that this team is not a project. They're not. They're not a rebuild. They're nothing. They are, at this moment, a playoff team. And I'll say it right now, I did not expect to say that. No way. I'll admit it too. Before the year began, I said, trade everybody. I said there were no assets on this roster besides some of the young guys. Coby White had some time. Pat Williams was new. But definitely trade Levine and Markkanen and Carter and Thad Young. That's what I thought. Not anymore. Even up to about 2 weeks ago, I said it's time to trade Zach LaVine. But now, he's played too well to be traded. If you've listened to this show, if you watched it, you know I'm very, very hard to persuade in a different direction. I don't waffle. I don't go back and forth. Zach LaVine and the way he's played has forced me to change my opinion on him. How in your right mind could you trade a guy who's averaging 29 points per game? And I get it. He's the only good player on the team. He's the only number one scorer. He has no one else to compete with. If he was on another team, he'd be averaging 20, 18. I get it. I know. But the numbers are what they are. You can't trade that. You can't get rid of that. You kidding me? Even Lauri Markkanen. Now, I still think he needs to go. Not a number one. No way. Not even a number two, I would say. Or like a 3 or a 4. Like Kevin Love once he got to Cleveland. That's my ceiling for Lauri Markkanen. Not bad, but not great. Averaging 19 and 6 right now. Those numbers make it really hard to trade him. If you're the Bulls and you look at that line, you have to think to yourself, how could this guy not be a part of our future? Coby White up to 16 again. Granted, he's not a point guard, but he could score. And Thad Young. How about this year from Thad Young? Off the bench, 28 games, 12 points, 6 boards. That's unbelievable. I'd say he should be in contention right now for the 6th Man of the Year award. Tell me I'm wrong. Now, I know he is better in leadership and everyone looks up to him, but that's a guy I would trade. You could get back a good haul for a guy who's been in the league for 13 years. That's a no-brainer. I hope AK and Mark Ebersley consider that. But other than that, I am just pleasantly surprised and even a bit shocked at where this team is right now. Number 8 seed, tied for it with the Pacers and Hornets, but still, better than what we would have expected, right? Better than last year. You know, I remember 2 weeks ago it was. Writers, columnists all saying, oh my goodness, the Bulls are starting just like last year. There's no improvement. There's nothing. This team is the same. That narrative's gone. See? This is a different team. People could say what they want. You could try and find comparisons to Jim Boylan or to Fred Hoiberg, and I'm sure there are some out there. You could degrade this team, find every negative aspect, say they aren't winning fast enough, or you could look at the positives. For the first time in a long time, people care about the Bulls. There's actual excitement. Players on the team are performing. When's the last time a Bulls player averaged 29 points per game? Oh, that's right, Michael Jordan. Don't listen to the haters and the critics for this team. They're young. They're inexperienced. Before the season, we all expected another rebuilding year, and we were okay with that. I was. I had no issue with that. I was hoping they'd lose. Get a new pick, do great. Now look. Top 8 team. Possible playoff appearance. Zach LaVine's an all-star. Lauri Markkanen is averaging 20 points a game. Who expected that? Who expected this? Nobody. Is there stuff that needs to be worked on? Yes, of course there is. This team is still young. This is still a rookie head coach. Still a rookie GM. New head of basketball ops. All of it is new and fresh and different. If the Bulls make the playoffs, yeah, they're going to get bounced in round 1, sure. No experience. Not good enough compared to the 1, 2, or 3 seeds. We know that. But this is positive. Can you imagine what would happen to this team in 2 or 3 years? To me, they're already ahead of schedule. Think about 2 to 3 years from now where they're going to be. I would hope LaVine is around. Pat Williams will emerge. Maybe Coby White's still here. You could go out and spend some money, bring in a bona fide superstar or 2. Then all of a sudden, you've got yourself a really good team. A true contender. I can see it. I can see the future. Some people are still a bit wishy-washy. Some people are still a bit concerned about defense, and don't worry about that. It's not all going to come in one day. The Bulls are not going to become the 76ers or the Nets or the Bucks in one day. The Nets have 3 superstars, and they're still a half game out of the number 1 seed. That's because of healthy scratches, which is another whole issue, but still. The point being, the Bulls will be there eventually. Not today. And we shouldn't expect that. We shouldn't be asking for it. Let's be real about this team. I know the trade deadline's coming up. Zach LaVine is not going anywhere. I still think they should test the market for Lauri Markkanen. I'm not saying deal him, but test the market. If there's a big return that you could bring in for him, do it. I like Markkanen. He's an all right player. But I told you, his ceiling is Kevin Love on the Cavaliers. You want to sit around with that? If there's a sweetheart deal, first round pick, NBA ready superstar, you listen. And you make the move if you have to. And yes, sorry, you moved Thad Young. He's been a great piece. Give him all the credit in the world. But let's be honest here. Let's be real. Is he going to be around this team when the full rebuild is completed? Cubs fans know this. Anyone remember Brian LaHare? 2014? First half All-Star? Supposed to be the first baseman of the future? He slumped in the second half. Then Anthony Rizzo made an emergence, and LaHare was gone. LaHare had one good half. Pleasant surprise. Great thing. In the end, not a part of the future plans. Thad Young, great half, 13-year veteran, been around a long time, not a part of the future plans. He's old, comes off the bench, good role player. Send him to a real contender and get whatever you can for him. Flip the asset. You signed him for relatively cheap. Flip the asset. Make money off the investment. Now, I did see an article a couple of days ago that Bradley Beal could be a possible trade piece for the Bulls. They could bring him in. I don't know how true this is, just a rumor, but I will say this. You bring in Bradley Beal, team him up with Zach LaVine, keep Lauri Markkanen for the moment, and then in the offseason, sign a superstar, you're set. That's it. You become an instant contender. I am fully on board with that idea. The scary part could be what you have to give up. A couple of first-round picks. Maybe a superstar-type player like Markkanen. Maybe even LaVine, I don't know. But that's an offer you have to listen to. You have to listen to it. Bradley Beal is the most underrated superstar in basketball. More underrated than Zach LaVine. Even Damian Lillard. The guy's sitting around averaging 30 points a game, no one cares. And now no one cares even more because Russell Westbrook is on his team. And Beal is still considered some sidekick, some nobody, some number two. The guy could score, he could play, he could shoot. You'd be crazy to not at least listen and engage and see what you could get. See what you have to give up to. I'm so excited for the future of this team. It's been a long time coming for a lot of people. There's been heartache. There's been bad management, bad coaching, bad play. Zach LaVine wasn't a superstar until this year. Even before, he really wasn't. And we all know that. Not a lie, that's a fact. But everything seems to be coming together, finally, for this team. It seems like the dysfunction is fading away each and every day. There is a path for the Bulls to become a serious contender. I see it. Just a matter of time. If they continue to play their cards right, they could draft a bit better again. bring in another superstar, flip assets that they don't need, I think they are a finals contender. May not be next year, may not be this year. 2 to 3 years, though. They'll be there. They will. Give it time. Enjoy the ride. I remember as a kid, the 2006, 2007 Bulls. You do too, right? We all knew they weren't finals contenders. They weren't going to win a championship, but they were entertaining and fun. They were called the Baby Bulls, right? Kirk Heinrich, Ben Gordon, Luol Deng, Andres Nocioni, even. All of them. Very solid role players, some of which turned into decent superstars. They made trades. Remember John Salmons and Brad Miller? Remember Kurt Thomas? That team was active. They were fun to watch. And even though they weren't big-time championship contenders, they made their mark. They played good basketball. They played with heart. And every game was entertaining. This team is already at that point. Give them 2 to 3 years, they'll be ready for an NBA Finals championship. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My exclusive interview with Jose Canseco comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. You must be 21 plus. You must be an Illinois resident. You can bet $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. NHL, NBA, bet on the Bulls. College basketball too, March Madness coming up right around the corner. This is a great time to put down some money and win a whole lot more back. That's sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. You have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.